Imagine you're a business owner relying on a dozen different software programs, each one disconnected, more expensive, and more complicated than the last. It can be incredibly stressful, right? Now, picture Odoo. Odoo brings all the tools your business needs into one simple platform. CRM, accounting, inventory, manufacturing, marketing, HR, and more. All seamlessly connected. Everything works together, giving you the peace of mind that your business is running smoothly from every angle. Odoo's open source applications are user-friendly and designed to scale with your business, saving you time and money. Say goodbye to juggling multiple platforms and hello to efficient, integrated management. Stop wasting resources on complicated systems and make the switch to Odoo today. Visit odoo.com, ODOO.com, and discover how Odoo can simplify and streamline your business operations. Odoo, modern management made simple.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets, with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care.
Welcome to this episode of the Awakening Women podcast. What I want to chat to you about today is forcing an outcome, forcing a decision, forcing yourself to leave or stay or whatever it is, wherever it is that you feel kind of looped and hooked into in this never-ending loop of reaction, of avoidance, of overfunctioning, of going back into the cycle and into the patterns, is recognizing that you're not regulated. This is something that I'm growing very passionate about through my own healing journey, even just more recently, in the last couple of years, to understanding how I have operated in my life in all areas, business, parenting, relationships, everything, from a place of panic energy, force energy, adrenaline, making it harder than it needs to be. And that force energy leads us women to hitting a wall of burnout and health issues that follow. And so, the whole question around why can't you just leave, you may be asking yourself that, other people ask this. And here's the thing that I remember learning this, decades ago now. One of the early spiritual teachings is that the answers cannot come from chaos, and they can't come from chaos from within, right? We can have chaos going on all around us, and we can choose who we are being. We get to choose how we're showing up in that. And this last 2 years, I've basically been living and walking that reality of I cannot control what is going on around me. Things are going on around me, one after the other. It just seems like it has been one thing after another. My nervous system being triggered into like a caged animal, a caged bear that's just freaking out. And even if I'm maybe not freaking out externally, I'm freaking out internally at 3 a.m. in the middle of the night, panicking about this, that, or the other thing. And so while I'm, in my surroundings, things are fine, it's recognizing that my body still sees threat in a lot of different ways. And so this comes from parenting. When my girls were younger, I parented a lot from anxiety and fear and control, to try and keep everything in control, keep everyone safe, keep everyone fine, to the point where I was only feeding them just organic foods and everything natural. I don't regret that, but I think I went into extremes with that because I was trying to control and make sure that they were okay, that they wouldn't get sick, and that they were healthy. So I was not feeding them junk food. They didn't even know what McDonald's was until they were like 4 years old or something. And then we got it for them and they didn't like it. It's recognizing that maybe you too can realize that you have been operating from adrenaline and panic energy, maybe for your entire adult life. And so you eventually hit a wall where you realize, all right, this is not working for me anymore. And it's not fun. It worked until it didn't. It got you to where you are. It got you out of certain situations. It pushed you into certain things and achieving certain things and getting the education, getting the career, getting the income, getting married, having kids, all that goes into all of those things as high achievers. But when we get into our late 40s, operating from adrenaline and cortisol is very, very dangerous. You can do that for a while in your 20s and maybe even your 30s, even I would say not. You start getting into your 30s, there will be adrenal fatigue and hormone issues. But as you get into your midlife and perimenopausal years, we naturally produce more cortisol as women. And so if you already have higher levels of cortisol and then you are constantly in a stress loop of panic, fight, flight, freeze, panic, fight, flight, freeze, and you're over functioning, and then you go into freeze, which is more avoidant. You're starting to avoid the issues. You don't want to deal with it. And you're in this cycle loop. This is creating constant adrenaline and cortisol surging through your body. And so what the work that I have been doing with women since 2019 is helping them come back to themselves and to stop operating from that space. And more so, there is going to be more coming out around that in my work, around how to start regulating the nervous system and regulating it to understand calm. When our knee jerk is to go into panic, fight, flight, freeze, worst case scenario, worry, freaking out, doing things from pressure and stress, that will make us very sick. And this is especially true in our midlife. And if you already have a health diagnosis like an autoimmune, or you have adrenal fatigue or hormone issues, gut issues, you have to deal with the stress. You have to, and you have to learn how to regulate your nervous system. You might think, oh, I deal with stress fine, look at me go. But your body's going to start telling you otherwise if it's not already. And so what the work I do is helping women come back to themselves. So what I actually didn't realize in the beginning when I started doing this, and this was the work that I started doing well before 2019, around how to start being there for myself in a new way, learning how to own my own emotions instead of letting people talk me out of them or minimize them or gaslight me out of them, to be able to own, like, this is my truth. And understanding that we think a lot of times that the emotion comes from thought. This is the old school cognitive behavioral therapy, that what we think becomes what we feel, and what we feel becomes what we believe, or our beliefs are our thoughts on repeat. There's all these different methods, right? But also there's that our feelings actually can come from our body, from stored trauma. And so we have to be able to get in touch with that. And so the work that I've done with women is exactly that. They're learning how to feel, how to tell themselves the truth, how to set a boundary and stick to it, and how to do that in the face of more manipulation, guilt tripping, and gaslighting, and how to stand firm in what they need and deserve and what they desire and their value, and also their ability to make different choices in the face of challenges, and doing this from a more regulated place. So this is why I teach about understanding your triggers when you're feeling emotionally flooded, and what to do in those situations when you're having a fight and you don't know what to do, how to react, how to do something different. And it's about coming back to self. It's being in your body. It's feeling what you feel. And so what I have right now is I've opened up End the Cycle for a 6-month program that is a 2.0 version, where I will be adding new programming to it all around this nervous system regulation that will help you if you're in the relationship, or it will help you if you are when you're coming out of the relationship. You also are going to get both of my programs, one being End the Cycle, the one I've taught since 2019, and then my next level program, She's Moving On, that's for once you have left and you're out on the other side. So that's the reason why I've extended it to 6 months. I ran End the Cycle Evolve as a 6-month many years ago. And it was really great for a lot of reasons, as far as women getting the longer term transformation, not necessarily the quick fix 30-day, which still was very effective, but then it oftentimes left women wondering, okay, where do I go from here? And sometimes they would work with me one-on-one or just figure it out on their own once the 30-day had ended, which still worked. Women still got results from that. But what I'm moving into now is a more longer term, more relaxed 6-month program where women can come in and not feel like their nervous system is triggered right away coming in as they're trying to finish the program in 30 days. I was recognizing that while it was effective for some, it wasn't necessarily for others. And so rather than the quick hit, the quick fix kind of mentality, this is about long-term transformation. So while you will still get the 30-day boot camp in there, you will have those 6 months to get the support and coaching while you're in there. So what you will do when you come in is you will be detoxing from the cycle. And this is returning your energy back to you through emotional freedom processes, trigger proofing your reactions, and gaining mental clarity. And if you just think about how much mental and emotional energy you've wasted on him, imagine what is possible when you turn that same level of energy and focus toward yourself over the next 6 months. So we're in the summer, so you'd be in the fall. So seasoning, we're looking at seasons here, right? We're coming into summer. So by the fall, who would you be? Who would you become? What would you have created? What would be different if you completely did a 180 and broke those patterns of working from that adrenaline and the stress hormones, and you started getting grounded and calm in your own body, and you start reacting to the things that he's doing from such detachment that it even leaves their head spinning. I've had this happen with women when they start posting about how their partner is reacting to their new boundaries, to their new way of being. There's going to be pushback, right? They're not going to be benefiting from you anymore because you're now in this new place of power. You flip the power dynamic, and no, they're not going to like it. No, they're not. They don't like it. And a lot of times that's the type of posts that end up in the groups, is around how do I react and respond to this in a new way? And stuff is coming up for them. So they're rewiring their old patterning literally by posting in the group and getting my feedback on how to respond differently, or even just how to make sense of what's coming up for them so that they respond differently. Sometimes it's just having that outside awareness. So once you've done the detox phase, then you do the deprogram phase, and this is where you will unlearn the shit that you've been taught about love, relationships, and your worth, and you'll start to learn how to use your emotional energy as inner guidance and set boundaries that protect your peace. And then you will move toward your new life vision from a place of certainty and confidence without drama, without continually losing your emotional shit. And I don't mean that in a mean way, but you know that you're constantly feeling triggered and reactive to what he's doing and what he's not doing. I want to help you get to a place where you're no longer doing that you have emotionally detached to such a degree. And I don't mean going numb and shutting down, but just this is who he is going to be. And I cannot change him. I need to put that focus on self. So every time you go into what he's doing, fixing him, telling him what to do, trying to talk to him, you say, okay, what do I need right now? And you keep rewiring that. It takes time. But when you are doing that work, you are literally changing the pathways in your brain, the neural pathways, from habit to conscious choice. Because every time you're getting into your shit, your loops of him, you're turning it back to me. And yeah, you're going to be told you're selfish and whatever else. You have to be able to rewire all of this. And it is uncomfortable. Absolutely, it's uncomfortable. And it's not about doing it to change him. It's not about getting anyone to do anything. This is about you making your life about you now and what you need and your peace and your calm. And there's so many things you can do to start filling your bucket and plugging the holes that are leaking your energy now, because that's what gives you the clarity from what you're going to do next, because you are in your body, you're listening to yourself, you're tapped in, you're in your intuition, and you start to get these nudges or these signs or these clarities, moments of clarity. And then you go into the reclaim, which is, this is your blueprint for your life using holistic methods. You're going to create a new path. And these are methods that I've been teaching clients since 2019. So over 13 years, I've been working with women using these holistic methods that I teach you in the program. This is where things start to feel more exciting. You're going to start feeling more alive. You're going to start feeling this no bullshit energy coming through you. Instead of feeling victimized, you're going to feel empowered, and you're going to feel energized, and you're not going to be taking any shit, and you're going to stop worrying about what his reactions are going to be. And it's such a beautiful process to go through when you get to this place of just like, I am no longer attached to who you choose to be. You get to be who you're going to be. I'm going to be who I want to be. And you start differentiating yourself away from that, growing away from those patterns. And this is what I mean when I say you have to focus on your own growth, not on what he's doing. It is absolutely useless. And this is true even in...
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care.
A non-toxic, non-abusive relationship to try and change someone. What do you think you're going to get out of that? And then think about, would you like someone constantly breathing down your neck about what you need to change constantly? Think about that. I know I wouldn't. I would rather someone just say, I don't want to be with you. This version of you is not working for me. And unless this can change, then I don't want any part of this. This is not going to work for me. You have to, this is from Patricia Owen is her name? Pat Owen, I think. She said, find out a man's flaws early on and then decide if you can live with them or not and be happy, something like that. So really it's the point of, you can't change a man. If he wants to change something that is easy enough for him to change, maybe he will do it if he values you enough. It is a fruitless effort to drag him to therapy like a little boy and do a PowerPoint presentation about what he needs to change, what's not working, what's hurting you, your emotions, your emotional process, why what he's doing is hurting you, why what he's doing is wrong, why what he's doing is hurtful, why what he's doing is harming the kids, and you go on and on and on, and it's like you just talk to a wall because nothing penetrates them. So you're wasting your life force energy beating your head up against a brick wall. Why are you doing that, right? The definition of insanity is what? Doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. And so you need to put that energy toward your own empowerment, your energy, your health, your mental wellness, and doing the things you need to do to empower yourself differently. And then once you have gone through those first 3 phases of the process, then you make a decision. So you decide. And this doesn't mean that there's a timeline on this, because it is different for every woman. This is the other thing I've seen in 13 years, is that some women, they get it like that. They go through even just the first couple of modules and it's all they need, and they're moving and they're out. And some women do the whole program and they're still there. And I'm not attached to either way, honestly. I did go through that in this process many times, where I felt like it was my responsibility to make sure that every woman got the hell out within 30 days. That was not good energy to come from. That was me wanting to rescue other women, and that's not believing in their power. It is about trusting that each woman is going to know what her process is, and it's going to happen in her own time. I can provide the tools. I'm there if you want to post a question in the group, but ultimately it is on you to do the work, to do the homework, to commit to the processes every day, to come into the group and ask questions when you're unsure so you can grow and do something differently. Some women have taken the program and not even engaged in the group and gotten massive breakthroughs. So every situation is different. Again, all I can do is provide you the tools and the process, and you get to do what you want with that on your own timing. And so it can take weeks, it can take months, it can take longer for you to get to the ultimate decision to leave. But the goal is to be the woman who no longer tolerates or makes excuses and rationalizes violence toward herself and her children. That is my goal. I don't want you to continue minimizing the impact and damage that this is doing to you, your body, your life, your children. That's it. So if you come out of the program aware of the dangers, the impact, and you're no longer just tolerating it, and remember that usually, tolerating it is staying, it's being in it. So on some level, you are tolerating it when you stay. But more so, it's no more making excuses and rationalizing it. No more, this is becoming gaslight proof, right? And I actually have a guide in the program that is called that. It was an ebook that I wrote to become gaslight proof. When you evolve to this level, the way becomes clear on its own. So all you have to do is just do the ultimately pleasurable thing of letting go. Just let go and put that focus on yourself. What would that feel like to just drop all this heavy weight that you've been carrying and just do what it is that you need to do to plug into calm and plug into your body? And so once you make that ultimate decision and you're ready and your nervous system is ready and you're emotionally ready to leave, then you have the plug and play exit planning strategy that I've created that is just for planning your exit from point A to point Z, the whole thing. And then you have the group to come into to get support around getting that going. So remember that it is pretty impossible. I mean, we all can make decisions from fight or flight and from panic. But if you are feeling stuck and you're unable to make some kind of decision and you're just frustrated, then we need to get you into a more regulated state, meaning a place of calm in your body where your heart's not racing, where you're not vibrating, where your mind is not racing 100 miles an hour, and you actually are present in your body and understanding what that feels like. And then you can start to trust the messages that come through, and you can start walking in more confidence about what it is you need. But you have to go through that detox, the detach, reclaim before you can get there. So it's the emotional detachment before the physical detachment, okay? But when you're in a place of panic and anxiety, it's very difficult to get clear answers. They come in the calm when we're rooted in our body and in our inner truths. And so regulating your nervous system is the way, and you can start to do it while you're in the relationship, and then it will help you get the answers that you need to move forward. So if you would like to join this session of End the Cycle 2.0, then just head to the link in the show notes and sign up. At this time, until May 6th, the time of this recording, when you pay in full, you get a one-on-one with me. And this is to help you get personalized guidance on your next 6 months, personalized questions answered, and I will create your pathway forward over the next 6 months in the program, personalized to your specific goals, outcomes, and situations, circumstances, all of it. And we will do that within the first 30 days while you're in the program, so that you get that within ASAP. As soon as you sign up, you can book it in. All right, so that is what I had for you in this extra episode. Is you have to regulate your nervous system in order for the clarity to come. And it's not as complicated as it's made to sound. It is about learning how to rewire your typical patterning into something different that allows you to stay in your body and allows you to move things through your body instead of pushing them down or having them come out through emotional reactions, anxiety, panic, and frenzied energy. And then that just leads to shutdown and burnout and exhaustion, which you're constantly bouncing back and forth from this heightened level of urgency, then down to a crash, and then you're back up again and you're a crash. And that is so, I can't even tell you, so toxic on the body. There is nothing that is worth doing that to yourself for. And I can say this obviously from hindsight and from my own life experience, but having been working with my own health stuff and my own autoimmune, it's been a bit of a bumpy road because you can't control what's going on the outside. You can't. And so when things start happening around us, we are shown where our points of trigger are, right? And so for me, recently, how's it been? A couple weeks now, my daughters were driving back from out of town, and my youngest, who's a newer driver, she totaled her car. And when we're talking about fucking anxiety, getting a call like that, I was reminded of that panic energy that you can't breathe because you just want to know, first of all, is everyone okay? Like, you're in an accident. The first thing you need to do when you call somebody, if there's an accident, especially if it's someone that loves you, is everybody's okay. Please just, like, everyone is physically okay. But there's been an accident. Not just the car was totaled, and they were in their own panic around it too, and their own fear, and it was a really serious accident, one that they were very lucky to walk away from. That's all I will say on that. And so the anxiety, the panic, and then that was just really bringing up a lot of my other panic and fear. And so I have been doing a lot of nervous system work because it caused a flare in my health issues. And then that's just like the kick in the face, right? Like, yep, that's the reminder I needed, that as soon as you start to go off into this panic energy, it's going to show up in your body. And I had the awareness because of it being more of an isolated incident, but it created a whole couple of weeks of a flare of symptoms. And so that was a wake-up call. So I want you to take this seriously. Because I do want to see all women free from this. I want to see all children free from this. And not walking on eggshells, not living with your nervous system jacked on overdrive. I want every woman to be free from this and learn what that is like. And it's not all roses. It's not just all smooth sailing on the other side. You have years or a lifetime of rewiring to do. And, doing it while you're experiencing traumatic cycles every day of your life, it's not going to happen. But once you come out and it is just you have to sort out, then you really get to do your own work. Now you're actually doing the real work because now you're not in that. And now you got to deal with the you that was the one that got into that in the first place. And you've got to deal with your reactions and your anxieties and the traumas and things you've been through, and recognize that you're oftentimes operating from scared little girl energy, and you have to learn how to combat that and kind of come back to self in that. And I teach that as well in the cycle. All right, so this is a bit of a longer episode, but I wanted to share it, and it's my birthday today. I actually was going to not do any work today, but I ended up doing a bit, and I felt inspired to share this because it is something that is very big in my own transformation, and I'm going to be bringing it into my work. So I hope to see you inside of In the Cycle.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets, with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care.